Hey everyone, ready to dive into something new. Today we're tackling user authentication.
Yeah.
Specifically, we're looking at Hanko.
Okay.
It's this whole open source platform
Right.
built around getting rid of passwords
Yeah.
and using passkeys instead.
Interesting.
I'm really interested in this kind of thing.
Yeah, it's pretty hot right now.
As a CTO,
Absolutely.
I got to keep up with what makes managing users easier,
Absolutely.
especially a mess.
Especially for us, starting up
Exactly.
small teams, solo devs even.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So this deep dive is going to be like our crash course on Hanko. See if it
Aw.
lives up to all the hype. Right?
Same.
We've got like all their docs, their GitHub, even code snippets we looked at.
Thorough. Nice.
Got to be thorough.
Yeah.
So first off,
Yeah.
what even is Hanko?
So what's really interesting about Hanko is it's not just like a passkey thing. It's aiming to be a whole user solution.
Like the complete package deal.
Pretty much. You get your logins, registration. Okay.
Even stuff like social logins. SAML.
Oh, SAML. So it can scale up.
Definitely.
Like if I got those big enterprise clients.
For sure it can handle it.
Interesting.
And it's all API first, which for startups is amazing.
Okay, why is that so good for us startup folks?
Flexibility, man.
Oh, I see.
Doesn't matter what crazy app you're building.
Right.
Simple web stuff or something way more complex.
Hanko can just plug in.
You got it.
Yeah, that API first approach just makes things so much simpler.
So much.
We all know how fast things change.
Oh, tell me about it.
Startup life, right?
Every day's a new adventure.
Getting locked into some framework is the last thing I need.
Nightmare fuel.
Right. So Hanko avoids that.
Exactly.
Good.
So, about its core features.
Yeah, what's under the hood? What makes it stand out?
So you got your passkeys, obviously.
All right, that's the big sell.
Then social logins, your Google, GitHub, that sort of thing.
The usual suspects.
Then SAML.
Okay, so like we said, it can go big if it needs to.
That's impressive.
But here's the cool part.
Okay, I'm listening.
You get to decide how strict you want to be.
How so?
Want full-on, no passwords allowed.
Like hardcore passwordless.
Yep, Hanko can do that.
Interesting.
But if you need to keep passwords around for a bit,
Yeah, some users might not be ready to jump in yet.
you can do that too.
So it's like flexible on purpose.
Exactly.
That's a big plus for me.
I thought so.
But let's get down to brass tacks.
Sure.
I'm a solo dev, right?
Right.
Need things to be easy to set up, integrate.
Oh, boy.
How's Hanko on that front?
Pretty smooth, actually.
Okay, good to hear.
You can self-host or use Hanko Cloud.
Choices. I like.
So if you're like a server whiz, comfortable with databases and all that.
That describes some folks, not me, though.
Well, self-hosting gives you total control.
Okay, big
It's like
spin.
they've got guides for like bare metal setups or Docker, which is way easier.
Oh, yeah. Docker's my go-to.
Smart choice.
Containers for the win. So, okay, that's getting Hanko running.
Right.
But then I got to hook it into my app.
The integration part.
That's where APIs and SDKs matter, right?
Absolutely. That's the meat of it.
What does Hanko give me to work with?
Well, their backend API, that's your main hub.
Okay.
Well documented. Gives you fine control over all the users and stuff.
So no black boxes.
Nope. You see what's going on.
I like that.
But the front end is where it gets even better.
Even better.
Oh, yeah. Shoot.
They got a JavaScript SDK, the Hanko front-end SDK it's called.
Okay, I can see myself using that.
And then, get this,
What?
Hanko Elements.
Let's look at those.
Ready-made web components.
Like pre-built stuff.
Yeah, saves a ton of time.
Ooh. Time savers are my love language.
I hear you.
So what do these Hanko elements actually do?
Think of them as like UI building blocks.
Okay.
They handle your login flow, registration, password resets, even user profile stuff.
Wow, that's a lot of ground covered.
Right.
Sounds almost too good to be true.
Well, there's always a catch, right? Yeah, that's what I'm thinking.
But the best part is they're customizable too.
Oh, so I can make them fit my app's look and feel.
Exactly, just tweak the CSS a bit.
No need to write tons of code just to make it match.
Nope, it's designed to be easy.
Okay, I'm officially intrigued.
I thought you might be.
But now the big question.
The one we're all waiting for.
Money talks.
Bradley, yes.
Is Hanko actually free?
This is where it gets interesting.
Oh, interesting can be good or bad.
It's open source.
Okay, that usually means free.
So good for keeping costs down.
Right.
But the licensing is something to be aware of.
Ah, there's the catch.
The back end uses AGPL 3.0.
Okay.
That has some implications if you're selling your product.
Makes sense. Open source doesn't always do whatever you want.
Right.
So you got to read the fine print.
Definitely.
But the front-end stuff, the components, SDK,
Those are MIT license.
much more permissive.
Yeah, so it's a mixed bag.
Interesting. Definitely got to dig into that more.
Worth it to understand the details
Absolutely.
before you commit to anything.
Yep. Can't be too careful.
Right.
So we've heard the good so far.
That's a good. Yeah.
But let's be real.
Got to stay grounded.
Every tool has its downsides.
Absolutely no silver bullets.
What are some of Hanko's cons then?
Well, one thing is it's still being actively developed.
Ah, so it's not like finished.
Exactly.
That means things could change.
Things will change.
You got to keep up with updates then.
For sure, breaking changes can happen.
Yeah, that's the open source life sometimes.
You trade stability for being on the cutting edge.
True enough.
And their documentation is good, don't get me wrong.
You said that earlier, yeah.
But there might be times you need to
Get your hands dirty.
yeah, dig into the code.
Or maybe rely on the community for help.
Exactly, if you're doing something really unique.
Okay, so got to be a bit more self-sufficient then.
A bit, yeah, but that's often the trade-off
True.
for the flexibility you get.
Right, fair enough.
So to summarize,
Yeah, let's put it all together.
pros and cons for a CTO like you.
Exactly. What do I need to weigh up?
On the plus side, you got passwordless security, right?
Strong security is always a win.
And the open source nature, that's huge.
Yeah. Control and no vendor lock-in. Love that.
Plus, the integration is smooth with the components and SDKs.
We talked about that. Big time saver.
And they're constantly adding features.
So it's not going to get stale.
Nope, they're on the move.
Okay, so lots of pros.
Now for the cons,
Get me.
that AGPL license.
Yeah, could be a deal breaker for some.
And because it's still in development, you got to be more hands-on.
Keep up with updates, maybe even help the community out
Exactly.
if you hit a snag.
You're right.
Okay, that's a fair assessment, I think.
Pretty balanced view, I'd say.
So let's shift gears a bit.
Sure.
Talk about what you can build with Hanko.
Now we're getting to the fun stuff.
Is it just for basic web apps?
Oh, no, it's way more versatile than that. You can use it for simple stuff, yeah.
But it can handle more.
Oh, yeah.
Like what? Give me an example.
Imagine you've got this system. Needs enterprise features,
Okay.
like SAML integration.
Whoa. So we're talking big clients now.
Exactly, the kind that need that extra level of security.
Hanko can handle that.
No problem.
That's impressive.
And they're working on even more stuff.
So it's not just staying put.
Nope, constantly evolving.
Like what kind of stuff?
Well, one thing I'm excited about
Yeah.
is fine-grained authorization controls.
Ooh, that's getting granular.
Really lets you lock things down.
Sounds powerful.
It is.
But okay, let's be realistic.
Gotta be.
Every tool has limits, right?
True, true.
When would Hanko not be the right choice?
Good question.
Like, when should I not reach for it?
Well, it depends on your situation, right?
Sure.
If your app is super tied to old systems,
Legacy stuff.
yeah, the kind that doesn't play nice with modern auth,
Hanko might not be a good fit.
probably not the best choice then.
Okay, makes sense.
And think about your users.
Yeah, good point.
If they're not very tech savvy,
Like, not comfortable with new things.
exactly.
Even if Hanko's UI is good.
Even then, it might be a struggle.
Might need to, like, hold their hands a bit.
Yeah, lots of education and support.
Right, developers sometimes forget about that.
Easy to get lost in the tech.
We love our shiny toys.
But users are real people.
They have feelings.
Exactly.
So back to user experience for a sec.
Okay.
Mention Hanko elements are supposed to be user-friendly. What makes them so good?
It's all about making authentication smooth.
Like, as painless as possible.
Exactly.
Okay.
So the elements provide this clean interface, guides users through every step,
No matter what they're doing.
whether they're registering, logging in, managing their account.
So it's consistent.
Very consistent.
And remember, we can customize it with CSS.
Oh, yeah, we talked about that.
So it fits right into your app.
No jarring transitions.
Nope. Smooth sailing.
That's important.
Very important.
Especially for something like authentication.
Users are already kind of wary there. Right, it's their data we're dealing with.
Exactly.
Speaking of which,
Security.
yeah, how does Hanko handle all that sensitive stuff?
Security is like built into Hanko.
Okay, good to hear.
They use all the industry standard encryption,
That's reassuring.
protects data in transit at rest.
So no matter where it is, it's safe.
That's the goal.
And what about attacks? Like brute force stuff?
They've got mechanisms for that.
Okay, like what?
Rate limiting, account lockout.
So it'll stop people from just guessing over and over.
Exactly.
Some passwords.
Even for those using passwords as fallback.
Right. Some people might still need that.
They encourage good practices there, too.
So they're not like password haters.
No, they're pragmatic about it.
They know passwords are still a thing.
For now,
Right.
but they want to make them as secure as possible.
Okay, that makes sense.
So yeah, Hanko provides the tools.
But it's on us developers to use them, right?
It's a partnership.
What can we do to make sure our Hanko setup is rock solid?
Well, first off,
Yeah.
secure coding practices.
The fundamental.
Always important.
Right.
So validate user input properly.
Oh?
Implement authorization, access controls, all that good stuff.
The usual suspects.
And keep your Hanko installation updated.
Yeah. Patches, updates, can't forget those.
Latest security fixes, gotta have them.
Basics, but crucial.
Absolutely.
Easy to overlook.
When you're excited about new features.
Oh, yeah. Shiny new toy syndrome.
We've all been there.
So speaking of new features.
Yeah, what's Hanko cooking up?
What's on the roadmap that has you excited?
Lots of cool stuff.
Give me the highlights.
Well, one thing I'm looking forward to is more control over two-factor authentication.
2FA, almost a must-have these days.
Pretty much.
So what's Hanko going to do with it?
They're going to let devs make it optional or mandatory.
So more flexibility.
Exactly.
Yes.
And another thing,
IBNI.
custom social SSO connections.
Like logging in with whatever service I want.
Pretty much more options for integration.
That's powerful. It is. Okay, so Hanko's not standing still.
Nope. Always moving forward.
That's good to know.
So let's zoom out for a second.
Big picture time.
Yeah.
Where does Hanko fit into the whole authentication world?
Good question.
Like, what impact could it have?
Well, passwordless is definitely gaining steam.
People are realizing passwords are kind of broken.
Right. Not the best way to do things anymore.
And Hanko's riding that wave.
Oh, yeah.
By offering this open source solution.
Makes it easier for everyone to jump on board.
Especially as startup folks.
Exactly. Lower barrier to entry.
Makes sense.
But for passwordless to really take off,
We need more than just the tech, right?
you got it.
Users have to be on board.
It's all about adoption.
And the whole industry needs to support it.
It's a movement, not just a product.
I like that, a movement.
So yeah, companies like Hanko,
And the rest of us,
we got to communicate clearly.
educate people on how it works.
Make them trust it.
Trust is key.
Absolutely.
But what about the challenges?
There are always challenges.
What are we up against here?
Well, one thing is standardization.
Yeah, that's a classic
And
problem.
everyone's doing their own thing.
Fragmentation
Exactly.
leads to confusion
Users don't know what to expect.
and interoperability.
Big one.
We need our passkeys to work everywhere.
Seamlessly across devices and services.
It's like the chicken and egg thing.
Which comes first?
Adoption or standardization?
Hard to say.
So how do we break the cycle?
Collaboration is key.
Working together.
Yeah, initiatives like the FIDO Alliance.
I've heard of them.
Hanko's part of that, by the way.
Oh, so they're putting their money where their mouth is.
They're walking the walk.
I like that.
And open source platforms like Hanko help too.
How so?
Community involvement, feedback, it all pushes things forward.
So Hanko's not just building a product.
Nope, they're trying to move the whole field forward.
That's impressive.
It is.
Okay, so for our listeners out there
Devs, CTOs, all those folks.
evaluating Hanko,
Yeah, what should they be thinking about?
what are the key takeaways?
Well, first off,
Yeah.
does Hanko fit your strategy?
Like, am I all in on passwordless?
Or do you need a hybrid approach for now?
Right. Some people might still need passwords.
Exactly.
So figure that out first.
Then look at your technical needs.
Can Hanko actually do what I need it to do?
Features, capabilities, all that.
Make sure it aligns,
And don't forget practicality.
especially for startups. Yeah.
What's the learning curve?
How much work is it to integrate?
Is there a good community for support?
Important question.
And check their roadmap. See where they're headed.
Exactly. Is it actively maintained?
Or is it going to get abandoned? That's a risk with any tech, but especially open source.
Right. Got to be aware of that.
So yeah, lots to think about.
We've covered a lot of ground.
From the tiny details to the big picture.
Hanko seems like a real step forward for authentication.
I think so too.
It's got a lot of potential.
And it'll be interesting to see how it evolves. Anything else you want to add before we wrap up?
Well, one thing that really stood out to me
Yeah.
was how much Hanko cares about developers.
Oh yeah, they get it.
Their docs are great, APIs well
It's a
designed,
joy to work with.
and they give you both ready-made stuff with the elements and the power to build your own solutions with the SDK.
Best of both worlds.
It's like they understand our pain.
And they want to make our lives easier.
That goes a long way.
It really does.
And for me, the open source nature is huge.
It's a game changer.
Transparency, community, freedom.
It's all there.
Sounds like you're a fan.
I am, not gonna lie.
Hanko's ticking a lot of boxes for you.
Especially for startups, yeah.
Secure, flexible, cost-effective.
Hard to beat that combination.
So, for our listeners who are now intrigued,
Hopefully there are a few out there.
how can they learn more about Hanko?
Best place to start is their website.
Makes sense.
Dig into the docs, check out the examples on GitHub,
Get your hands dirty.
and they have a community forum, too.
Oh, nice. So you can talk to other devs.
Ask questions, share ideas, all that.
That's always helpful.
It is.
Get a feel for the community.
If you're feeling adventurous,
Yeah.
contribute to the projects.
Open source thrives on that, right?
Absolutely.
Even small contributions can make a difference.
They add up.
So learn, give back, maybe even influence the direction.
Win-win for everyone.
I like that.
It's a good way to be.
Well, I think we've explored Hanko pretty thoroughly.
We went deep.
It's a powerful platform
With a big future ahead of it.
for anyone who wants to dive in themselves.
We've got links in the show notes.
Website, docs, GitHub, all that good stuff.
Go forth and explore.
And until next time,
Keep building the future.
one authentication step at a time.
One authentication step at a time.
I like that.
Yeah.
So we've talked a lot about the tech side.
The nuts and
Let's
bolts.
talk about the human side for a bit.
Okay, the user perspective.
Exactly.
You know, one thing that often gets overlooked
What's that?
is the mental model users have of authentication.
Oh, interesting.
Like how they think about it.
Yeah.
For years, we've trained people to think in passwords.
Right. Usernames, passwords, that's all we knew.
So now we're trying to shift that,
To passkeys.
which are fundamentally different.
It's not just a tech change.
It's a mindset change.
Yeah, that's a good point.
So we need to be mindful of that
When we're designing our apps,
when we're communicating with users.
how do we help them make that shift?
Part of it is education.
Explaining how passkeys work.
Why they're better.
Right. Got to sell them on the benefits.
Security, convenience.
No more remembering complex passwords.
Exactly.
But it's also about design.
Making the experience intuitive.
Even if the tech is complex behind the scenes,
The user shouldn't have to think about it.
it should just work.
That's the ideal.
And Hanko can help with that.
With the right approach, yeah.
Their elements provide that smooth UI,
And we can customize it to fit our brand.
so it feels seamless.
Like it's just part of the app.
Not some bolted-on extra thing.
Exactly.
Okay, that makes sense.
So yeah, the human factor is crucial.
We can't just focus on the tech.
Got to bring users along for the ride.
Make them feel comfortable.
Confident.
That's how we drive adoption.
And ultimately, that's how we make the internet a more secure place.
One passkey at a time.
I like it.
Well, I think we've covered just about everything.
We've gone pretty deep.
Hanko is a fascinating platform.
Lots of potential.
I'm excited to see where it goes.
Me too.
And I'm sure our listeners are now eager to explore it further.
Hopefully.
So, as always, you'll find links to all the resources in the show notes.
Website, docs, GitHub, all that.
And if you enjoyed this deep dive,
Be sure to subscribe.
leave a review
Let us know what you think.
and tell your friends.
Spread the word about passkeys.
And a passwordless future.
Thanks for listening, everyone.
Until next time.